I didn't know what a podcast was before Maryland Crabs, and now I can't live without them. Gavin Buckley, running for mayor.
Live from a grungy kitchen table located in Annapolis, Maryland's scenic and historic capital, it's the Maryland Crabs Podcast. With each episode, your hosts, Tim Hamilton, John Frenay, and the occasional guest will dive in and pick apart the stuff that really matters most to you. We're too lazy to actually solve any of these problems, but we can definitely stir the pot. From schools, politics, parking in the fire lane, to those horrible people who drive BMWs. And here with this week's episode, live from the kitchen table, Tim Hamilton and John Frenay.
It's the Maryland Crabs.
How was your Memorial Day?
It sucked.
Mine was great.
Why?
We went up to, Teresa and I went up to Longwood Gardens.
I love Longwood Gardens because I'm a big gardener.
And we didn't realize that they had undergone a 2-year $90 million renovation of the fountains.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they opened it up the day that we were there.
We're such grown-ups going to gardens, fountain dates and stuff like that.
I know. Strange thing, we were there. We noticed there was not one squirrel to be found.
I trap them in my gardens every day, and I take them out one at a time. I become obsessed. But I'm thinking about giving them swimming lessons.
I think that's what they do. I think that's what they do. We weren't quite sure. But
yeah, I was at Cape May, and it was just rainy, dreary, and then it was a 6-hour ride home. Normally 3. So it was just the weather sucked. The weather sucks today. By the time everyone hears this, so we're doing all this the day before. But by the time you hear this, it should be nice. But I am tired of this. I'm a summer dude, and I hate this.
What are you gonna do? Hey, we're getting lots of feedback on the Chris Nelson.
That was a good one,
podcast.
Man.
It really was. He had some really neat.
He was the president of St. John's. That was so. If you didn't listen to that was last week's episode. So go back and listen.
Right, that was episode 39 or 40 or something like that.
40.
It was episode 40. But yeah, Chris Nelson is retiring at the end of June. Officially, and he is just a real fascinating guy. Has lived in Annapolis for 25 years as president of St. John's College, and
he was just very collegiate. He was just very measured. He did some good stories. I like that guy, and I like that his office was great. You know what? St. John's is right there, but I always feel like kind of an intruder whenever I go. Sometimes I'll go work like in the student union downstairs
because your hair is too short.
Yeah, and
you don't smell.
Oh, Jesus Christ, really? But those buildings are really kind of cool. I've never been like in the buildings before, so it's kind of weird.
They are. Hey, also, get your entry. Is that the word I'm looking for? Entry to the Ravens. We had an episode with the Baltimore Ravens, and we've got the Play Like a Raven clinic, which is coming up in Annapolis on the 12th of June. I believe it's the 12th of June.
Yeah, I'm taking my kid.
And
he plays PAL football.
We've got spots to give away, and we're going to give them away on June 5th. So if you want to enter, just send an email to info@themarylandcrabs.com. And that'll enter you in. It's real simple. You're not signing up for anything. We're just going to pick some winners out of the emails that we received.
Just say, gimme.
And this is for kids, so they're pretty much 5 to 15.
Yep.
So it's not real old kids. It's not super, super young kids there and everything else. So
yeah, I'm taking my kid. He plays PAL, and he's playing that Under Armour Friday Night Lights every Friday night, which has been really cool over at the PAL field at the end of Bay Ridge. Mm-hmm. And then he plays PAL in fall, so this is going to be kind of cool. Although he is a Patriots fan. I don't know how that happened, but I love him anyway.
Oh, well. What's your postman? What kind of football does he like?
She doesn't like football. So.
But this week is kind of interesting. We're going to be talking with Frank DiVenti and Ben Isenberg. And there's probably 2 names that you don't know, but they're 2 of the movers and shakers of everything that's sort of coming around down in Annapolis. You've got Frank DiVenti is with VisitAnnapolis, which is, for all intents and purposes, the Annapolis Convention, Annapolis and Anne Arundel County Convention and Visitors Bureau.
But they dropped convention because we don't have a convention center, so it was kind of stupid.
That is true. And Ben Isenberg was a consultant with them, and he's now a principal with his own firm called Symmetry Agency, and he is working with the Inner West Street Business Association, the Arts District, to bring in Arts Week, as well as the Annapolis Arts and Wine Festival, which is going to be happening on the following weekend.
So you kind of live this because I'm in Annapolis, so you're always dealing with the calendars and stuff. And I, to be honest with you, I don't pay attention to any of that because I really don't go outside my house. So, but when talking to him, I'm amazed how much stuff we got going on in such a little town. And I'm not saying this is not like a public access kind of show, like, oh, it's fantastic. I really was amazed how much stuff. And I may take my family and venture out for 1 or 2, maybe. We'll see.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing that's going to be interesting is the West Street Business Association is going to start to become very, very relevant.
But they're killing it now. They've been killing it for a long time, when it comes down to business.
Well, they have. They had the first Dinner Under the Stars for the year. That was, actually, it's happening tonight as we're recording this, so when you hear this, it'll be last night.
It's Wednesdays?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wednesday's the 31st. You've got first Sunday Arts of, well, not the first, it's the second First Sunday Arts Festival, which will be on Sunday, and that kicks off Arts Week, which we'll get into all of that. But Annapolis Arts and Wine Festival is June 10th and 11th. But that whole West Street Business Association is going to come into play because we had a big shakeup yesterday in the news.
Shelley Dubinsky.
Isn't that Shelley?
That's Fawn Lee was his roommate. She resigned.
That's it. She
Fawn died in a killing accident. Actually, Shelley Reed resigned from the Downtown Annapolis Partnership. There was a resignation letter that kind of outlined some of the reasons that she was leaving.
It was
none of which were surprising.
She put the bus in gear and she just drove it right.
Well, good. I mean, and this is what. So I was reading this on Facebook and I made a comment to someone that someone said, it's so sad that she's moving on or something like that. And look, nothing against Shelley. We tried to have her on the show a couple times and it just never worked out for one reason or another. But I guess I really question the value of the Downtown Partnership at all. Whether it was Shelley or someone else, again, I'm not rolling her under the bus. I'm just saying it was not set up for success. And my contention is that any governmental organization in Annapolis particularly is just not going to work. We've tried this twice before, and it just doesn't work, period. It's just the biggest problem that I think businesses face here are the red tape, the massive amounts of red tape.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's endemic to our town more so than most small towns by any account of anyone who's run a business. And why is it so difficult to clear that red tape out of the way? And you're not going to have a governmental agency trying to clear the red tape from other governmental agencies. It just won't work.
No, well, but the thing that was destined for failure is, I think, and we discussed this with Sean O'Neill way back in our
Episode
infancy.
5.
Episode 5, was it?
5 in October.
Businesses need a voice, and the way the Main Street Partnership or the Main Street program is set up, it's part of the National Historic Trust. It cannot charge membership fees. That's one of the big rules. So everything that you donate is a donation. It's not a membership fee. And as a business owner, why would I pay $200 to an organization that really is yet to prove itself as this new merged organization?
With such a narrow scope, it's only a certain geographic area that's very small, and it's probably a single-digit percentages of the businesses in Annapolis.
It has to be a contiguous geographic area. So that organization cannot represent Eastport,
even under the best circumstances,
because of the creek. You can't ask West Annapolis because the road does not continue over there. Nor can it do Outer West Street, Parole, Forest Drive. None of it.
So even under the most ideal of circumstances, it can't be successful. Even if everything was running just the way it should be, and it doesn't, because again, you can't have one governmental agency clear the red tape for another one. It just won't work. So we're sitting here saying why it won't work, and so that's that tearing down. Someone goes, all right, what's your solutions? And the solution is that I think the ABA in some form, whether it be the ABA or like Sean said,
the Chamber of Commerce,
and it's got to be a group that's not connected, that gets no funding whatsoever from the municipality, and that has to be reignited. It has to be. That's the only way this will work.
And they're working for all businesses in all of Annapolis.
And I think they have to be aggressive, where they take membership dues and they lobby, and they'll tell legislators going, if you're not going to advocate for our best interests, then we are going to fund someone who will.
We're going to advocate for ours.
Exactly. We will contribute to someone who will, and that's the way it's got to be.
Which is no different than what Walter Vasquez, who we also had on early in this in the show, is doing with Annapolitans for Responsible Development.
Yeah,
and he's looking to find candidates that are pro business that are going to be doing that, and that's what he's looking to support. And that's
Yeah, but so lest anyone, if you remember, I think this happened about 25 years ago, that there was the chamber, the Annapolis Chamber, and then they wanted to be more inclusive of the county, so it became the Annapolis and Anne Arundel County.
Well, you had two. You had an Anne Arundel County Chamber of Commerce, and you had an Annapolis City Chamber of Commerce. They merged,
right? So
into this AAAAAAACCCCCC.
But then you had the Annapolis businesses rightfully thought their interests weren't being advocated for by this organization over time, and then you had splinter groups, like even when the ABA was such a...
Sure, you had the Eastport Business Association and
Maryland Ave, West Annapolis, right. And because you had the top of Main Street and the bottom of Main Street had different business organizations, but they all have disappeared. I mean, Maryland Ave is still there, but they're quiet. West Annapolis is quiet. I think that the big boy right now is West Street, because they're just so aggressive. They have so many events they have. So if you're looking at Downtown Partnership merging with West Street without knowing much about it and going to have an opinion,
that's something that was underway when Shelley was still there. are.
But that to me just seems like another. Instead of pulling one organization into a positive direction, it seems like it does the opposite, where it pulls an organization that's doing good into.
I don't know which way. I have no idea which way that merger was looking to go.
I think that down to just dissolve the downtown partnership. I think that's going to happen eventually anyway, because it's the funding. There's not enough funding for them to do anything.
Right.
I say just revitalize either the Annapolis Chamber or the Annapolis Business Association. Become aggressive with what you want to do. If there's any red tape, get a mayor who says that he will destroy the red tape and finance him. And if he doesn't, then back someone else. I mean, that's just the way it should be.
Well, I'll tell you, be aggressive with what you want to do, and I'll tell you that's what West Street is doing right now, and that's what Frank DiVenti and Ben Isenberg are here to talk to us about.
All right, let's listen.
Hi, this is Anne Arundel County Executive Steve Shue. We hear the headlines every day. Heroin, fentanyl, even elephant tranquilizer. But addiction usually starts with prescription drugs. Don't be silent about this problem. Talk to your children. Ask your doctor to provide only the minimum number of pills necessary. Go to denialisdeadly.org right now for the tools you need to stop heroin addiction before it starts.
If you don't like huge draft beer selections, don't go to Union Jack's. If you're not looking for an incredible menu and dozens of screens to catch your favorite teams, I repeat, do not go to Union Jack's. Not into darts and pool? Good. Live music not your thing? Perfect. Bottom line, if you are not interested in the best dining and bar experience in Annapolis, avoid Union Jack's. But if this all sounds totally friggin' awesome to you, visit Union Jack's in Annapolis, just across from Whole Foods in the Annapolis Town Center. Union Jack's, not your old-style pub.
And we are here in the back of 49 West, which is one of our favorite road trips, isn't it, Tim?
It gets me out of the house, which is a big goal of my wife.
It is. They've also got good food. Thank you to Brian and thank you to Sarah for always giving up the back table in the back room. We're joined by Frank DiVenti from Visit Annapolis, and we're also joined by Ben Isenberg, who is from Symmetry Agency, which people may not know, but you will before the end of this podcast exactly what they're doing, because they're doing something really very cool and putting this all together. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Great.
Good to see you.
Great,
Thank you for getting me out of my office.
Yeah, Frank.
Well, you have an office with regular people.
Well, yeah, I mean, my wife's not in my office, but I can find a way to get away from her without this. So
I work from home, so I got 2 cats.
2 cats.
They tell me things sometimes.
Got it. Oh, you need to get out of the house.
You do need to get out of the house.
It's true. Well, Frank DiVenti is the Chief Marketing Officer. Did I screw that up, or is that right?
No, that's
okay.
That's
the Chief Marketing Officer for Visit Annapolis,
which means it all comes right here.
Which used to be, VAAC and C, all these other crazy initials, but they simplified it to Visit Annapolis, and you can check that out at visitannapolis.org.
And it used to be the Visit Annapolis and Anne Arundel County Conference and Visitors Bureau,
right?
Which is kind of a standard term for our industry.
How many receptionists did you go through? They're just like,
actually,
they just quit. Like, we're done.
Actually, we have the robo thing, so it's just a matter of just finding your extension.
I just thought they wouldn't last till lunch.
Yeah, well,
it
got a little bit easier. Now it's Visit Annapolis and Anne Arundel County is the official corporate name, but prior it was a standard for organizations like ours to use this CVB term. But the realization as time has gone on with organizations like ours representing Anne Arundel County, we don't have a convention center. So being a convention and visitors bureau is really not correct. And when you analyze what we do, and a lot of people like us, I mean, you can look at counties around the entire state of Maryland. Realistically, we have obviously a convention center in Baltimore. We have a convention center down with a convention area in D.C. shared with National Harbor, which is part of Maryland. But we really are a destination marketing organization. Now, we do have an emphasis on trying to find people to come and have corporate meetings here, reunions here, weddings, which is standard operating procedure. But we, as many like us, we've just decided to drop that convention name and put the emphasis on what we do, and because we have so much.
In the area, there's very few things that could house 2,500 or 5,000 people for a convention,
which is unfair. Ocean City has a convention center, and they're not even a real city.
Well, that's a little different. And again, they have hotels. I mean, one of the pressures we have as I don't want to say pressure, but sometimes I do feel it as an organization, is we have the most hotel rooms in the state of Maryland outside of Ocean City, which people are kind of surprised to hear. But there are 11,000 rooms in Anne Arundel County, And bear in mind, we represent the entire county. So that includes not just Annapolis. It includes what is available in South County, which are a few, but it also includes 40 hotels in the BWI Arundel Mills region. So we actually have created, and ironically, Ben, along with what we're going to talk about with an upcoming event for Annapolis Arts Week, Ben is also our agency who helps us with the creative and design and decision-making on how we approach promoting all of this. And it's so we that's why, if you ever go to our corporate site, which is vaac.org, you will see the 8 websites we control.
Well,
that's the reason behind.
They're targeting different aspects of the markets that are coming in. I mean,
Yes.
I know you've got a separate wedding website.
Yes.
Because weddings are huge. And actually, it was just, I'm trying to remember where it was listed. Just recently, there was a magazine that listed Annapolis as the number one off the radar. I mean, it was a bizarre kind of a thing. It was like a number one off the radar.
That was Off the Radar magazine. They had a great
wedding
spread.
destination, wedding place. I think we're number 1 and number 2 was like Barcelona or something crazy like that. And it is. I mean, we've got some really cool places. We've got I won't call it McNaspy's, but you've got the Annapolis Maritime Museum is a wonderful place to do it. And certainly there are some places on the Eastern Shore down in South County, and you look at London Town.
Right. And we promote the variations of weddings you can get. Whether it's a waterside event or a country type event,
bed and breakfast,
and even with BWI, which you might not think of that as a wedding venue, but there are places there that people will get married. They'll actually get married at hotels. It's very convenient. And the thing with BWI that is so unique is, and a lot of our emphasis is not just consumer up there, it's also meetings, because, like I said, but there's many hotels that are up there. There are 8 full-service hotels, which means they have the restaurants, they have the meeting space, they have the breakout rooms, they have the things that people are looking for large-scale gatherings. But we basically, and I hesitantly use the word sell because we're a nonprofit, but
you market.
We market, we brand. It's
I'm a
the
marketer.
excessive.
That means I'm full of shit.
Yeah, you need to market your home more, a little more your household situation.
Make cats won't let me.
But we market BWI as the most accessible meetings destination on the East Coast. And that's because I say so. No.
Right.
It's because
you are a
basically,
marketer.
well, if you look at the overall design of all of the hotels and what is available in Arundel Mills itself, it's minutes from BWI Airport, Marshall. It's minutes from the Amtrak station, 95, 295. It doesn't get more accessible than that. They're not saying there are not hotels around airports in major cities, but the combination of the accessibility, what is available to somebody visiting in that area with Maryland Live Casino, or Live Casino as they call themselves now. Arundel Mills, one of the largest outlet malls in the state. The Medieval Times is an option for potential visiting as a consumer and also meetings. The Cryptological Museum is up there. There's a monument of helicopters. There's
a lot of product. But, this was a conscious and challenging decision we made 5-6 years ago. I mean, this county is super diverse in terms of what it offers.
Actually, less than that, 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years. From Medieval Times in Arundel Mills down to South County. So what we really focused on, instead of like most destinations are visitxcity.com, that's the ad campaign, we really looked at the specific focus and the specific niche in the product and going to market. So looking at the restaurant community, looking at the art community, which is kind of what brought us to this side of it, we've been very tailored in both the way our websites are, our messaging, and our creative. Really trying to attract more visitors to the destination.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of attracting things, I mean, you've also developed through Visit Annapolis and actually through Symmetry Agency, you've also developed several different, I want to say, websites, subsites, blogs on different things. I mean, obviously we've got the Weddings Annapolis, but we've got Explorer, we've got the Foodie blog, which I love because we're...
Right.
That's a fun one.
I've always bitched, I've been in Annapolis for just about 20 years, and I've always bitched that we don't ever have, since Northwoods left, we don't have a true 5-star restaurant here. Bin 909.
You thought Northwoods was five star? That was that was like an old person restaurant.
In their heyday, it was. That's okay.
Most 5-star restaurants are old.
No. I would go in and I mean, the food was fine, but I went in and it smelled like my grandparents' basement.
Well,
They're not around now, so who am I going to insult?
But did they have a kitchen in the basement? Were they Italian?
Yeah, no, Irish.
Oh, okay. Well, it would have made sense
With
then.
potatoes and beer. I mean,
Okay,
that's very simple dinners.
I mean, you look at the food thing. I mean, I don't think we have a true 5-star, and how I would define that as opposed to how Michelin or whatever does it. I said, if I lived in D.C. or Baltimore, I want a restaurant that I would take my girlfriend out to. We would drive to Annapolis and
he has
eat.
a girlfriend from Canada.
And then leave. And then leave.
Yeah.
Not do something else. Not go to the Summer Garden Theater. Not walk around and see the enabling. Nothing. Just
we've had the discussion
point.
before where we said, what restaurant would you drive to Annapolis from, say, Bethesda or Gaithersburg or Baltimore? But the caveat was it couldn't be a steakhouse because every place has a good steakhouse, and it couldn't be because of the view. So that takes out Carroll's Creek just because of the view.
Well, I guess it depends where you're coming from. I live on Kent Island, so I'll drive over for dinner.
For McDonald's,
but I think it has changed, and like the Fox Brothers and the other restaurateurs in there, they've really stepped it up. Maybe not 5-star, but the feeling,
without
the style,
you look
the environment,
at
totally.
Like you say, the Fox's basement.
Fox's Den.
They're out as a sponsor.
Vita Taco Bar. You look at Preserve. Certainly Vin 909
is they're phenomenal.
I mean, what Scott's done with Sailor across the street from our office is unbelievable. It's a totally new niche. It's a great product. It positions the destination. It's all about oysters. It's all about the maritime. So I do think the experience in the restaurants has totally risen, which is why we created this blog. We were kind of waiting for the product to get to that point where we could tell stories about some of these restaurants, and it's been fun. My colleague, she does the drink of the month, so we get to go into these bars, talk to the bartenders.
I hate her.
It's awesome. We have a great time. So
and she gets paid for it.
Right.
Somebody's in the wrong business.
You're
Somebody's in the right one.
But
there.
she's not making a living at it, obviously.
But I mean, I think it's really cool that you've got the different blogs that are set up for the different aspects of the city that's around here in the county and the area. So,
just to back up a bit, just to give you a rhyme and a reason, when I first came on board about four and a half years ago, Ben had already been contracted with the organization, and the original intention was to create
to fire me
to create a new website because prior to that there really wasn't the funding to put the energy and effort in a new website, have the available money to market it properly, and then of course things changed thanks to our president and CEO Connie Del Signore. She fought hard here in the Annapolis sessions to create a better option for people like us throughout the state to get more budget to work with. I mean, we account for a tremendous amount of revenue as a destination marketing organization for the state of Maryland, for the county. The jobs that are created are, look, this is it. I mean, what was manufacturing jobs are basically now jobs in tourism. And what, unfortunately, looks like what were jobs in the retail industry is going to end up being jobs in tourism.
But you think about how far the tourism reaches, from the car jockey at Hertz to obviously the front desk person there, the servers that are in the restaurants.
And the destination of the cars, it's everyone, you're right.
Yeah.
It really is a huge industry. It's an important one. And obviously the tax incentives for the local municipalities, and that's pretty much where you get your funding from.
Our funding is actually it's a small percentage of the consumer hotel tax, and that's it.
Okay.
So obviously we need to get people to spend the night.
So we need more butts in beds.
Yeah, and although we're a nonprofit, there's still this whole consumer retail marketing attitude you have to take.
Where are people coming from?
It's been interesting, and I want to just back up if I may, just to give you just a sense of the progress.
Sorry,
I won't then.
Thanks for coming. I was just
a sense of the progress. When the first site came up, it was strictly VisitAnnapolis that Ben created, and we worked with this organization that basically specializes in DMO-type websites. And they were not able to do this prior, but this website basically covered the entire county. I mean, when you went to it at that time, it had a city of Annapolis. It had then it was called the Annapolis-Baltimore region for the hotels at BWI, and then the countryside, which is South County. So obviously, this is called marketing, branding. But at the same time, we also had a separate area for weddings, and we created a blog. We had naptownlocals.com, which actually still exists.
Right.
If you go to naptownlocals.com, you will find all three blogs that were just mentioned. It's just a splash page, so it kind of gives you everything at once. But the realization as we moved along, and every day we were at that point in time, Ben was still under contract, so we were really together a lot, and we were looking at the analytics, seeing what was getting attention, see what was missing, and that very first thing that we changed was weddings, and that a lot of that had to do with the South County region, because there were so many opportunities for brides and grooms to have very unique and different weddings.
Well,
So
brides,
brides really, but but then again,
Let's be real here.
I just showed up, frankly, and I almost forgot to do that.
Actually, the game went late, extra innings.
Yes, exactly.
Terry Crowley hit a 2-run homer after a downpour, and she actually thought I was still at Memorial Stadium, but that's a whole other conversation. But so, we just realized that we needed to find a way to direct people to the weddings because we knew there was a market there. We knew there was such a variation of options for people to consider. And that's how Weddings in Annapolis came about. And because the other problem is that when you tell people to come to the website and find the weddings page, and it's here somewhere and it's right there, they want it like that. I hope that snap came through. But they want it now. They want it now, and so it was a tremendous difference. I mean, we average right now, and this may not sound like a lot, but for us it is, we average about $2,500 to $3,000 a month to that page, to that site.
To the weddings.
Which is just weddings,
It's good traffic. I mean,
it's great traffic. And
I mean, there are people that are interested in weddings in Annapolis.
And that was it. We went very niche on different products and created their own sites and own brands, and it's worked.
Well, where are you bringing people from, though? I mean, where the visitors coming from?
Obviously, because one of the big fights we have is people always wonder, why don't you do anything here in Annapolis? And the reason being is we don't need to. You're here. Our primary markets over the years, initially when we first started, because the budget was there to really start, looking at using all the resources, whether it was print, broadcast, or digital. Our initial markets we concentrated on was Washington and Philadelphia. Obviously, look at the drive markets. Now, on the other side of the equation, we also bleed out a little bit for the BWI region because that's kind of spreads out a little more because of the airport. But Annapolis-wise, that's where we went. As time went on, we moved into Pittsburgh, I think in year 2.
Yeah. Connie's from out that way. I can hear it in her voice. I hear her accent.
And again,
she's a Western PA girl, huh?
Well, but here's the thing: with Pittsburgh being a drive market, we are a unique destination to them. I mean, in Philadelphia, they don't need to come here for history. They may because it all started here.
They got their own history,
but they have their own history.
It's not as good, but
yeah,
they have a
restaurants.
They have a broken bell. Big deal. We got lots of broken stuff. We're not making a big deal about it.
That's true, but they got this piece of paper up there. Is that piece of paper up there?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Okay.
They've got murals up there, though.
Yeah.
They got lots of murals
where it
up
went
there.
downhill.
But anyway, also, it's a very big market. And when you talk about markets, again, please keep in mind, when you're talking Philly, you're talking the outskirts of Philly all the way into Delaware. So when you're dealing with that market, you're getting a very wide range. The same with D.C. We're in the metro, but we're also in Northern Virginia and the outskirts into Maryland. So, and then Pittsburgh, we have a lot of visitors come in from Pittsburgh. Some of it, they come through when they're going to Ocean City. So it's maybe day traffic. It
I have relatives who do that. They stop by on the way from Pittsburgh to Ocean City. It's great. Yeah. It's fantastic.
So, and ironically,
they do it a lot.
This is kind of scary because our big spring campaign is going on right now as we speak, and we added a 4th market, and that is Columbus, Ohio. And you might say, well, why Columbus, Ohio? Well, it's not
because that's where they had family ties.
Is that where family ties?
See how fast I pulled that out?
You really did.
Yeah, I did. That's the Keaton family.
Michael Fox,
it's
right?
This was the second take.
Michael J. Fox,
Michael J.
friend.
Fox, okay, right.
Yeah. He did not go to medical school to be Michael Fox.
Okay, I got it.
That doesn't make sense, but still.
I had to think about who was in that. So, but anyway,
and a young Tina Yothers.
Was she the blonde? She was the blonde, right?
Will you stop interrupting and just get on with your story? God,
sure.
You're getting us off track.
So we were trying to find another because we actually 2 years ago, I believe, we actually went down into Charlotte. Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. Right. We went down to that region. And they just don't come this far north.
We did a focus.
Well, because they go to Charleston, wouldn't they?
Exactly. Yeah. They don't want to go through the Beltway traffic of D.C.
I don't want to go.
Well, they go to the Outer Banks.
So they do it once.
Exactly. Yeah.
They don't come back.
That mixing bowl is a little.
So when the decision came just to try to find that other market, I was debating between Cleveland and Columbus. But the one thing that was intriguing about Columbus, it's one of the largest corporate markets in the country. Mm-hmm. A lot of corporations in the country, in Columbus proper. A lot of that happened to do with Ohio State being located in Columbus. People, you know how that works. It just bleeds, it just builds. I mean, it's a big city now. But so, we're going to see what happens. We don't know until you try. There's just like there is in the other markets I mentioned in Columbus, we have our TV campaign running throughout the month of May, and print, digital. As a matter of fact, our communications person, was in Columbus the middle of last month with the anticipation of this coming up. That's also the coordination of what we do, is we also try to get the media attention in advance or after, depending on how her schedule works. And she was in Columbus when she went, and I actually put on some underwriting on WOSU, which is the NPR station in Columbus, just to tease if somebody in the news industry happened to be listening to the station that day while she was there. And she was really impressed. She had a lot of good feedback. And it is a city. It's not an affluent market as affluent as Northern Virginia, but still,
well, few
it's a
are,
market.
frankly.
True.
Yeah, true.
Anecdotally, Columbus travels pretty well, because I remember when Ohio played Navy.
Ohio State, right. Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, that was up at M&T Bank, but it was a sea of red as opposed to the blue and gold there.
But if that game was played in Moscow, the same thing would have happened.
True. I mean, they're obviously not all from Columbus as well.
But still, you're right. It's just the nature of the universities, just like Penn State, Notre Dame, places like that.
It's one of those super alumni schools where it's just they're crazy. Texas A&M, Florida State, they're all the same way.
And it's a huge campus, huge stadium. They have a lot of support there. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to give you the impression we'll just throw it against the wall, and if it sticks, great.
That's what marketing is. It's sampling, it's trying things, and trial and error. I mean, that's.
But I feel really good. I feel good about the response, and I don't. There are times when you're talking to like reps, where you know when they're selling you or when they're honest with you. And I must say, the majority of the people that I was dealing with when we were setting up the placements, the various advertising placements, they were so intrigued with this thought. Not that it was a potential new client, but they were like, I knew about Annapolis, but I don't. And, they would go to the website, and one thing would lead to another, and you find out more, because it's just interesting it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. But we know we have a fairly established branding in Philly, D.C. Right now, and I would say Pittsburgh were established, but I wish I had more budget.
So I was over in Chestertown, historic Chestertown, over on the Eastern Shore a couple of years ago, and I heard the Western or the accent from Pennsylvania, and I was talking to some people, some of the bar owners over there, and they were saying they're going, this is just a colony of Philadelphia. Yeah. They said there's no one from Maryland comes over here. This is all Pennsylvania around there exclusively. And it's funny how Western Maryland, of course, is like that. I mean, even Deep Creek is mostly Pittsburgh, and
it's been like that. The state's advertising's the same. It's heavy in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and
I think to your point with the Beltway, it's easier to come south than it is to come north. Yeah, and whatever we have here, they have in the south.
I mean, BWI has helped us with Southwest and semi-direct flights. That definitely has made an impact, especially like Columbus. But it's still a nice drive.
Well, plus it's also very. I mean, the way that BWI is positioned is just outside Baltimore, easy access to everything. There's so many airports. I mean, you go to Pittsburgh, for example, it's an hour to the city. Yeah. I mean, you're almost almost in Ohio at that point.
The same with Columbus and Philly, for that matter. I mean, everyone we're mentioning, it's the same situation. But not to be arrogant about the way BWI is set up, but it is pretty impressive because we were trying to figure out how we brand this. It was obviously they would love to be the Arundel Mills region or whatever. There's so many different entities up there that obviously they want to be priority. But when you looked at the big picture, it was hotels, and not because we want to get those people in those hotels, which of course is one of our main agendas. It's also just it was the brand. We could use it as a brand, and with the accessibility to Baltimore, and we cross-promote Baltimore events. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because, like right now, if you go to the BWI, hotels at BWI.com, as of this taping, so you wouldn't see this because it ends this weekend, we have the Preakness up there. Right. Because there are going to be people that are going to be looking for hotels in Baltimore, and either they can't find one, or they're too expensive.
BWI is a good choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'll tell you, let's switch gears a little bit here. And we talked about bringing people in here. Mm-hmm. But you guys are also involved with doing stuff locally here, and that's one thing that I want to talk about. We've got this thing that's coming up next week called Annapolis Arts Week, and this is, I would say you two are probably the brain children.
I guess so.
Or do you want to wait until it's over and let us know?
Yeah. Right. Can we hold?
It was Connie's idea.
You give us.
And that phrase, Ben knows.
Well, actually, it started with Ben, and why don't you start, because you really got involved with the end of Arts
Correct.
Week.
I mean, one of the things that we noticed from both analytics, traffic, and talking to people was events help drive a lot of people to come here from Northern Virginia or Pennsylvania. So we're always looking as branders or marketers, we're looking for reasons to get people to get in the car and come here. And events have worked well, from the Military Bowl to Midnight Madness to Dinner of the Stars that started a couple of years ago. It's been a great attraction.
And another one that just happened that I have to mention, the Film Festival.
Yep, exactly.
Which this was I have to say this was a very critical year for them, year 5.
Right. It was their 5th year.
I was involved with the Maryland Film Fest, and I just knew that, they really needed to have some really good success this year, and I understand they did.
They knocked it out of the park this year.
Yeah, 30% increase in ticket
Well, they
sales.
did. I mean, you had, Rob Reiner was in to talk, and
not us.
And they said that they knew year 5 was critical for them, apparently, in the film festivals. That's the magic number to see whether you've got something that's viable or not.
But, that for that example, that festival brings in a certain demographic. People have certain interests. They see the city. They come back for other vacations or other times. They become brand ambassadors for the city if you want to go that far. So events are always something we're looking at. And the art community is something we've been looking at for a couple of years. I'm in the Arts District, my agency. We're on West Street. There's a lot of art. There's a lot.
You guys
of
are right across the street from the fabulous Lighthouse Bistro.
We are, right in diagonal from Sailor, where I think half my paycheck goes to Scott and his team. But the diversity of the art community here is unbelievable. I mean, 49 West constantly has great art here. Mm-hmm. To what Jeff's done with his murals across the city, to the 20-something galleries, to Maryland Hall. I mean, there is a tremendous amount, but it's not really unified or branded. And so Frank and I started talking about what's the opportunity, way to kind of showcase that. I got involved with City Dock Productions and my partner Darren Gilliam to kind of help revamp the Arts and Wine Festival. So that's what kind of started this whole conversation. And then as Frank and I sat down with some key members from the community, realized Paint Annapolis was the beginning of the week, and Arts and Wine Festival was the end of the week. And Frank said,
well, the Arts and Wine Festival is the old Arts, Crafts, and Wine Festival, which has been a widely popular festival at the Naval Academy Stadium in the spring.
Correct.
And it's sort of paired with the Craft Beer Festival, I think, is in the fall.
In September.
Is the stepchild or the half-brother, whatever you want to call it, to this festival. But you said Paint Annapolis. Now, is that the plein air Annapolis? That
is run by Maryland Federation of Art. So we've really partnered with that team.
And these guys bring in 30 or so.
I think it's 32 plein air painters that are around the city, which are unbelievable.
From around the world.
And they're set up around the city.
And these are the folks that as you stumble out of an alley or something like that, there's going to be somebody standing there with an easel.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Looking down Main Street or something.
I thought you were going to say like a knife. I'm like, that doesn't like fun at all.
Actually, Ben is going to be doing...
we'll go down there.
A sort of a funny story with the arts back in your building.
Yep.
The very first, and you're in the old livery building,
right?
We
are, yep.
Very first Fringe Festival that Gavin Buckley had put on, there was a nude thing going on in there. And I thought it was nude paintings.
It was nude, huh?
And it was actually painting nude. Painting nude.
Sounds about right.
It was funny. You walked in, and there was, in the hallway, the center hallway of the building, there were a couple little fun things. I mean, there was like move the flap and change the body parts on thing. And then when you got into the main area on the first floor, you turned around, and all of a sudden on the right, there was a guy naked in a chair, and on the left, there was a girl naked in the chair, and there were people painting her, and I'm like going him, and I'm like, okay, this is not what I had expected, but it was, but it sort of speaks to the funkiness and the uniqueness and the different types of arts that we're seeing here. We've got the plein air painters, which are going to be, I'm going to say more
traditional
oil, your traditional
and water.
Watercolor, something you might see in your grandmom's house type thing, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, obviously, people like that. Then but you're not going to see some kind of an abstract thing.
But you never know.
We looked at the Fringe Festival last year when Jeff Huntington painted a trampoline, which was very cool. The year before, there was a old LTD, I think, that got painted. And you tied it all together somehow in a week that starts
June 3rd is when we kick it off. So
and also the second with the crossover of the Irish Festival.
Yeah, Irish Festival changed their dates, so they're actually kind of really kicking it off the Friday the 2nd and the 3rd. And then what we've created is, what we really want to do is bring the whole community together. So we have a bunch of block parties going on that week. The major festivals are the Annapolis Art Festival, Annapolis Irish Festival, Paint Annapolis. First Sunday's Art Festival is that 4th, that Sunday. And and then Arts and Wine Festival.
So we're bookended by two big festivals.
You got it.
And we've got an arts festival in the middle of it.
Yeah, all kinds of block parties and things going on. Maryland Hall and FinArt with their team kind of created the bounce idea. So we're going to have that on Saturday, June 3rd.
What's that?
The idea was to bounce around the Arts District, right? So start at Maryland Hall. There's going to be some music and fun and art going on, and you can come down to the corner of Southgate and West, right by our office. FinArt's got their gallery. They're kind of revamping and opening up. We're going to have different things going on throughout the community.
Right. I mean, FinArt's got some neat art, and there's also
Absolutely.
I'm trying to think the place that's right next to them that does the paintings on the crab shells.
I don't know which one that one is.
I think there's a small store, small slice
Sally,
of a store that sits in there.
And Sally Comport's studio's right there as well.
Right, she does art at large. She's responsible.
Yep.
She's responsible for the giant photos that you see hanging on buildings around town.
I helped a little bit with that.
Did you?
I did actually.
Did you?
Was you?
Well,
Like,
in my
physically
former incarnation, I was the guy who cut the checks for that.
You were the what? I'm sorry.
The guy who cut the checks for that.
Oh, really?
Seriously. So I'm not. Hero is a strong word, but I mean, if you want to go with it, yeah,
It's nice to control some money for a change, right?
I'm a hero.
So that opening block party is tied into the Arts District as well, and Lindsay, who's part of the Arts District, and their team kind of helped us put all that initial block party concept together. So we'll be kicking off that Saturday the 3rd.
Yeah.
So you got Friday and Saturday. You got the Irish Festival. You've got the block party at
Bounce
Block Party at Maryland Hall, also on Saturday the 3rd.
All the way down to the Arts District.
Sunday is the first Sunday.
Yeah.
You got it.
And it is the first Sunday.
Which is the first Sunday Arts Festival.
Yep.
Which has been, how many years has that been going on? That's
again, I'm not the person. All I know is that it has really grown over the past 4 years.
It really has.
And yes, we will take some credit for that.
See, it's contagious, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
A lot of heroes sitting at this table today.
Exactly.
What have you done, John?
I brought the microphones.
Because West Street Association is now running that Inner West Street with Eric Evans, right? And they've done a really good job to build that up.
I mean, that's the key. I mean, I came into this whole situation as an outsider in a roundabout way. I'm born and raised in Baltimore. I still live in Baltimore, so I don't have the luxury of going to Sailor and spending half of my paycheck. But the thing that I found interesting, there's this, even on a very local level in the state of Maryland, is that there was always this, Annapolis is good for the Naval Academy and the history and the water.
Yeah.
But when you're able, as I was able to do initially, and you see, the amount of art galleries that were available here, you see the amount of restaurants when you get from Eastport right up to Main Street and over even to Maryland Avenue with what's over there.
Sure, West Annapolis is...
Yeah, in West Annapolis. I mean, you just realize that we got to get this message out.
Yeah.
But the problem is we couldn't just say, come eat. So then it was a matter of looking at events. And that's really how the whole event situation occurred, and trying to find events that would create overnight stay.
In a town that has traditionally not liked events because it's disruptive to parking in Ward 1 or...
Right, but if they want to have their property taxes where they are, they should like events.
I think people have really loosened up with them, actually. Because they have, really.
It's a tremendous amount of revenue. And I mean, as we just said, but the film festival, the beauty of that film festival for me on a selfish level is 4 days. And if we get this thing to grow, which it has, it's going to attract people from outside the area. Obviously, the military ball has been huge. We're very fortunate to have that.
Thank you for bringing
here.
that on my birthday this year again.
Oh,
we did it 2 years ago, and it was awesome.
You're welcome. We'll bring a cake. We'll bring a cake.
It was awesome.
But
I mean, the thing with Arts Week really was a two style goal, or whatever you might want to say, right? We wanted to attract all these events that were going on that week, but we really wanted to position the destination as an arts community. So the site, AnnapolisArtsWeek.com, has the festivals that are going on that week, the block parties that are going on that week, but also the exhibits that are going on in town, the classes that are going on in town, the performing arts that are going on in town, and also all of those partners. So, the symphony might not be having an event going on that week, but come back and see them another time. The ballet, the Annapolis Shakespeare Society.
Right. Because we're trying, that's the other thing. I mean, people do not realize that, there's opera here.
Yeah.
There's no opera in Baltimore anymore.
It's a good opera, too.
Yeah. I mean, the ballet is here. I mean, there's so many things that are overlooked. And, it's not just that small city that happens to have a capital in it.
We had Gordon Lightfoot here last night.
Yep. Right, exactly. And he took up half the street with his truck.
And we included that in Arts Week. We wanted to have all the live music going on that week as well. So Naptown Music's helped us put all that together.
And an amazing lineup of music, not just for Annapolis Art Week, but also for the Festival of the Weekend Festival, the Arts and Wine Festival. And I think that's the thing that we've really tried to do, and more so And again, that that advertising for some of these events, they don't go as far as Pittsburgh and sometimes even Philadelphia. We're concentrating on Baltimore, D.C., really looking at them as a drive thing. Mm-hmm. But for example, Rams Head, this is one of the most amazing small concert venues in the country. Mm-hmm. We want to promote that, and if you're going to come down, spend the night, really enjoy it here, and that way you can have a few drinks and walk back to your room.
Why are you pointing at me?
What's that? Am I pointing at you?
That was a lucky guess.
No, this is the Italian.
No, you're dead on.
I just started. I realized I haven't been using my hands, and I'm not really getting as much excitement in my voice. But so that, and this week when we had our initial meeting and all the people that were involved in it, it was just by default because when we started, because really it was to really build up this Arts and Wines Festival and make it more exciting than it's ever been before.
Is this local wines?
Yes, all Maryland wines.
They used to be, frankly, pretty bad years ago, but now they're actually we have a winery here in town. I guess a lot of people don't know that we have Great Frogs.
Right. We'll be at the festival.
And I'm not a wine aficionado. I just like the alcohol part of it.
Yeah,
and but my wife has gone out there. We went out a couple weeks ago, and it's actually really good.
Mm-hmm. It's continuing to grow.
She's voluntarily buying bottles of local wine rather than being polite. But I think a lot of these, like Ligonier and there's a couple others, but they've actually come a long way in the last few years.
Well, the thing about this is that there are going to be things you've never seen before. Like, for example, there's going to be, where there's going to be huge murals being created throughout the event.
Well, this is in the festival.
Correct. This is at the Arts and Wine Festival.
Before we jump into that, before we went on recording, we were talking about Thursday, the 8th of June, where you're saying this is also, we're getting additional block parties through the Design District.
Correct.
Which is out off of sort of that West Street to Chinkapin Round Road corner. And then the newly branded Boutique District, which is, I guess, I'll say formerly known, or almost to be formerly known as the State Circle and Maryland Avenue.
Mm. Correct.
Everything where you've got a bunch of great little stores that are on there, and they're going to be having events.
What's that now? What are we calling that now?
The Boutique District.
Maryland Avenue.
Boutique District.
Yeah, that's
they call it the Boutique District.
Oh.
And it is there's
it's fine.
Really,
I didn't get
some really amazing stores over there.
Caught up to speed, right?
But again, I rarely leave the house. So
I've been told, you might know better than I, John, but that street was the first street or area that had more than one store on it back in the day.
It's like one of the oldest shopping
strip or district or whatever you want to call it.
I think I've heard that too.
Yeah,
might have made it up.
And that's pretty cool when you think about it, because that's the other thing that I really and we see this at the visitor center a lot. When people come in and they find out it all started here.
Yeah,
and it was like, no, it really did all start here.
Well, they did. They found they were doing the archaeology dig over on Duke of Gloucester once, and they went down 200 years, and they found the remnants of the first Bed Bath & Beyond. You know that? It's true. 100% true.
And the success moved on.
It's down another 50 years, and they found the coupon.
Right. But jumping back to John's
all 20%
point,
off.
The idea was to get all the neighborhoods involved so we can showcase as much as that's going on. And Maryland Federation of Art, who runs Paint Annapolis and Circle Gallery, have been awesome partners on this. So they're actually collaborating with the Boutique District to do a Paint Annapolis and block party on Thursday night, as well as they'll be painting their Nocturne on Wednesday night during Dinner in the Stars here on West Street.
What's that, painting the Nocturne?
So they'll be out when it starts getting dusk. They'll be painting at night.
Night painting.
It's kind of cool.
Night painting.
It's part of the Paint Annapolis.
Painting a night scene.
Right.
Yeah.
But they'll be around the city.
It's all very dark.
Very dark.
What is that? It's just, it was dark out.
Yeah, it was dark.
And Dinner Under the Stars, also again, as Frankie mentioned, started last year. That's on Wednesday night, 7th.
Yep.
That was awesome last year.
And that's just phenomenal. If you can go now while it's cool.
Yeah. Or get reservations, because it's really
to be honest with you, my eyebrows went up when I heard about this last year. I'm like, I don't know. And it was out of the park. It was really amazing.
It's got a lot of attention. It really has.
It really did.
First year, too. It was amazing. Each time it was held.
And then after we get off the Thursday and whatnot, I think we got the day off on
Friday's actually going to be the Gallery Row right here on West Street as well, doing another block party.
Off.
Yeah, so and that's really being run by all the galleries and the folks here, right? Kind of at Inner West Street, I guess is what we call it. So there'll be something going on there, I think, from 7 to 9. So there's something going on every night, pretty much.
And again, music. That's the other thing. If you go to AnnapolisArtsWeek.com, which is that...
It's all laid out for you.
It's all laid out for you. But while you're looking at it, and you're looking at the various events, and you're hitting the various tabs, bear in mind, with the exception of some of these events that we've just mentioned that are really helping to support the art community, this is another week in Annapolis.
Yeah.
And, that's the one thing that really we wanted to try to really get across is there's always something to do here.
Yep.
And no matter what time of the week it is. And I think that's because I actually had somebody say, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, oh my, there's just so much stuff that goes on here. Even when you get to, like, for example, the theaters in town, things like that, it gets overlooked because everybody has
Summer
their
Gardens
perception.
going on.
That is one of the big. I will say that we have 4 theaters. Do we have 4? Because we have Compass Rose. We have
the Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. You got Compass Rose. You got Summer Garden. You've got
Annapolis
Colonial
Players.
You've got Bay Area. So there's at least 5.
I think our theater scene here in town is one of the most underrated aspects of our town.
Yes,
even by the locals. I think the locals don't understand the quality of plays that we have here.
I mean, we're back here in the back room of 49 West, and I'm looking at the art on the wall
It's
here.
amazing.
This is brand new. Last time I was here, it was a whole different art thing. I mean, I think Alan Weitzman had John Bildall had their photography.
Oh, that's right.
Here.
That's what they did.
I mean, that is part of the goal as well. And again, my partner, Darren Gilliam, she's from here. She's an artist. And her argument has always been, don't leave our town once you're ready to create your career. Don't go somewhere else to be an artist. So what we're also trying to say is we embrace diversity of art. We want artists to stay here. We want people to have careers in this town. And we need to drive more
because other
visitation.
places do it. Other towns like this one do it. I mean, they do it in Aspen.
Town,
they
right?
do it in Santa Fe. They do it in small towns like that where you have there are small incubators for these artists where they don't have to go.
And the Arts District was designed to be that. So I think if we can have more visitors, buyers coming in that are actually acquiring this art, that would be a major play for this.
I mean, the perfect example is right up the road. I mean, the Art District in Baltimore was literally, an area I would walk through, but I'm a very rare person. I mean, but most people wouldn't even think of being there.
What are you doing there, Frank?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there was the Club Charles.
Okay, right. I was lost.
It's Joe Square. And I mean, there's places there, but, it was just these little niche things. Or niche, whatever it's supposed to be. I still never know which one's right.
Niche,
Let's talk about
but
Arts and
they
Wine
grew. They
Festival
really changed
which
it.
is going to wrap up Arts Week. What do we expect here?
Well, that's kind of started this for us, and what we're really super excited about. Our agency, partner with City Dock Productions, this is going to be the 8th year of the Arts, Crafts, and Wine Festival. We rebranded it as the Arts and Wine Festival. Part of the strategy there was
Crafts just got out of hand. It was just
well, I mean, there's crafts there, but really we wanted to embrace
popsicle sticks.
Right.
we wanted to embrace the art community, and we wanted to bring them into the fold. It had kind of become a festival outside of town that wasn't really part of the community, and that was what our major goal was. And so we went to 2 of our friends first. We went to Jeff Huntington and asked if he'd come and do a mural. So Jeff's going to bring Future History Now in. They're going to be doing a live mural 2 days at the festival. I think he's one of the most talented people in town and be able to showcase that. Super cool. Jimmy Davies and FinArt decided they're going to come in. They're going to do a mural as well. We're doing one on the left side of the stage, one on the right side of the stage, where it's a paint by numbers. So kids and people come up and actually help paint the mural. So really kind of bringing that element in.
So they're right now designing.
Yep.
The
paint by numbers,
the paint by
murals.
numbers.
And next year they're going to
have Jimmy's probably up there putting.
Well, we'll bring it up a week before, and we'll make sure we get to it. But
so next year you can do a giant jigsaw puzzle where they're like the size of tabletops,
stuff like that. But so that was the first part, and then
I was kidding. But if you do that, I want credit for that.
We'll give it to you. You can sponsor it. All right. So and then we reached out to Jenny Paris Brady with Naptown Music because we really wanted to showcase live, like local live music, and she brought 11 artists.
Great job with the Naptown Music for sure.
And I disrespect, but the music hasn't been the centerfold of the festival over the past years. This year it really is. We got 6 artists on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. Jenny's curated all of them, all local, all super cool.
Oh, she's awesome.
So pretty excited about that. Then we reached out to Maryland Federation of Art, who partnered with us to allow artists to apply to be part of this festival and be there to showcase. So we've got 10 artists that went through a vetting process, and they're going to be demoing. Got one guy that's turning wood, one guy that's does pyrography, where he's burning into wood, where he's doing a whole art element of. One guy's melting crayons and creating art out of this, right? And then we've got traditional painters. We've got a bunch of local artists that are going to be part of this whole thing. So really demoing and showcasing the art community, as well as 130 plus vendors that are there selling and showcasing their art. And then what I'm really truly excited about, it we haven't had in the past, we're bringing 13 food trucks in each day. So
you said a bad word. They're not allowed here.
Yeah, they are now. So we got the okay to do that. We partnered with the Maryland Food Truck Vending Association.
What do you got coming in?
All kinds of stuff from everyone was curated and different. We've got, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but we've got a pasta truck.
Crazy names.
I know there's Greek on the street.
Greek on the street, Pasta La Vista, Upside Down, Slide Dave's. I mean, we got
Slider Girl.
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff coming.
Oh, Slider Girl. Yeah, I saw it.
We've got 20-something wineries, and then one winery that's making ice cream out of their winery, which is super cool.
That's
so
wine
you can do
cream.
that. Yeah.
They're the Kegs and Corks
They're going to be
Festival.
there. And a bunch of other cool things. Wine Design's going to be there. You can do their.
I was trying to come up with a wine pun, and I got nothing.
You didn't got nothing?
My mind was racing. I didn't
Now, are
hear
all these Maryland wines?
All Maryland wines, yep.
Okay.
So,
and you said how many are there?
We're going to be probably 22, 23 wineries plus.
There you go. 22,
yep.
23.
We have space for 24.
Maryland wines?
Maryland wines.
Wineries, wow.
There's a lot.
There's a lot throughout the state. It's kind of deceiving because, you know Bordy, you know a few of these here and there, the ones that have been around a long, long time. But, just like craft beer. It's not bad region for growing grapes, so people just kind of moved on and started doing it, and it's just really exploded.
Virginia, like if you go over towards Roanoke or down 81, Virginia's got a really strong.
And we're
wine
catching up
culture,
to them here in the States. So.
I think anywhere in the mountains along the Appalachians.
Yeah.
So we had 20 food trucks?
We'll probably be 13 food trucks a day. We're changing out a couple each
20 wineries.
13 food trucks.
13 food trucks.
11 bands.
11 bands.
Yeah, a lot of live artists over 2 days.
A lot of art.
Yeah.
A lot of art.
We've got a great chef that's coming and doing food as art, where you can go in and you can make food. You can make art out of food, like with chocolate and stuff like that.
Do you know what? I saw Maryland Hall has a class on that.
That's him.
Is it him? I
Chef
just saw
Dave's
that
coming,
the other day, where it's and I was saying that to my girlfriend the other night. I said, I remember the day when they didn't make decorations on the plates. You got the cake and they got the whole little flower underneath it before they pop the cake. And
I think your girlfriend's taking you to better places than you normally went.
Like my McNuggets. But it's and now where do we get tickets and all that kind of stuff?
Tickets are online at AnnapolisArtsandWineFestival.com. Check us out through our Facebook page as well. But we're selling them. They're $35 up till the day of the event, and then it gets all the tasting of wine you want. So depending on how
unlimited tasting.
Sounds like a challenge to me.
Right?
I can drink $35 worth of wine.
Really,
sounds like a challenge. See if you
it is. It's a little bit of a challenge, but we're excited. I think the biggest thing we're excited about is that the local art community has really come behind this and been part of it, and then ties all into Art Week this week.
Along with the culture, we're going to actually have a tent there with Visit Annapolis and hopefully all of the above, but whether it's the opera, the symphony, the various theaters, Ram's Head.
Yep.
Supposedly I'm going to have somebody
You know what's
there.
really neat about that?
So they can go in and actually get information on all of the different things that you can do
arts and entertainment-wise within the city. But what I think is really kind of neat is, I've seen so many festivals all over the place that are just somebody selling, we'll say tchotchkes or, soap or whatnot, and there doesn't seem to be a real cohesive rhyme or reason to it. Mm-hmm. The Irish Festival obviously has the Irish culture. You look at Kegs and Corks, which marries the wine and the craft beer and Maryland wine. And this really seems to bring this arts thing in together there. Obviously arts and wine goes together in that kind of, raise your pinky snobby kind of a way. But are you going to have beer there?
Yeah, we'll have a beer tent, so there'll be a place to buy beer. But yeah, you nailed it. We want people to come. There's activities for the kids, hang out, taste the wine, get some food, watch some great music. We've got local great bands playing all 2 days, so hang out with them. It's going to be beautiful weather.
And
it will.
I promise.
Yes, it will. I'm lighting candles every day.
You've got a visual and experiential and oral.
Exactly. We changed the whole layout too. So if you've been in the past, we're changing the whole landscape of the festival grounds.
And this is at the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, right off of Taylor Avenue. Do you park off of Taylor or Farragut?
Yes, Taylor.
You come off Taylor, and you park
that way.
Yep, and walk in. And even do wine pickups. If you come in and buy a case of wine from Great Frogs or someone else, they'll deliver it for you at your car on the way out. So you're good. You don't have to carry your wine around.
So I don't have to actually talk to anybody. Exactly. I leave my house, just talk to the wine guy, and then go back.
Home. Yeah.
And obviously, this is going to be a lot of day travelers. Hopefully somebody will come down, maybe do the whole weekend or part of this week itself. But the one thing we also want to try to accomplish is to give people a sense of Annapolis on the parking lot of Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. We want to let them know that, just go down here a couple blocks and all these things can be available.
Well, I think being a small town, we're a very small town, but there's a huge advantage to that, is that there's nowhere that you can be here and not be within striking distance of something pretty cool. That's what I always say. Is that, we're a small town, there's some disadvantages to that, but the big advantages for you is that if you're having a festival or somewhere that's located like on West Street, or you can strike from anywhere, any hotel. It's really easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So June 10th and 11th.
Yes, sir. Coming quick.
Absolutely. Saturday. What are the hours?
10 to 6 and 10 to 5
10
on
to
Sunday.
6 and 10 to 5. Okay.
Yep.
Saturday and Sunday, June 10th and 11th. You would normally think it's sort of a slower period in time in Annapolis.
Are you worried that Flag Day is going to interfere with your plans? Did you think about that when you scheduled this?
I did not think about
There might be some time for you guys to react to that.
Yeah, we'll change the dates.
Okay, that's...
You said Flag Day?
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be somebody painting a flag. Does that work?
Exactly.
Look at you, lemons to lemonade and everything. You're in marketing.
Alrighty, well, I'll tell you what, let's wrap this up from 49 West. We're in the back room. Again, thank you to Brian and Sarah for this table.
Absolutely.
And thank you to Frank DiVenti from VisitAnnapolis.org who's here with us, and Ben Isenberg from Symmetry. And he's got one of those funky Symmetry.Agency. He's got one of those crazy...
Gotta be a little different.
...domain thing there. But it's the Symmetry Agency, and it's Symmetry Agency, or Symmetry.Agency.
You got it.
As opposed to .com. We've got Annapolis Arts Week coming up next week. It kicks off with First Sunday Arts. You've got plein air Paint Annapolis in the middle of it. You've got block parties. You've got
all week.
Hop on art or hop down art.
The bounce.
Bounce, hop.
Exactly.
Dinner Under the Stars, make reservations, and Arts and Wine Fest wraps it up. And if you want to kick around for the next weekend, you got East Porter Rocket.
Exactly.
So it's not really part of the week, but it's
a good
event to go.
Absolutely.
And if you can't have fun, you never will.
Lots of great stuff coming up this week.
All right, maybe do a couple of them. Kathy's going out of town, so it's just me and the kids, so I got to do something.
There you go.
I was going to teach them to drink, but this may be more productive.
You got to give them another year. AnnapolisArtsWeek.com is where you can go to find out all the information that's going on during Annapolis Arts Week, starting with First Sunday Arts on Sunday, and also the Irish Festival this weekend, but going through to the following weekend, which is the Annapolis Arts and Wine Festival, and you can find more information at the Annapolis Arts and Wine Festival.com.
I don't like wine.
Okay.
I don't like craft beers either. There's like a Miller Lite Festival. I'd be all about that.
There's a marketing idea. But I do have tickets. Ben did give us some tickets for the Annapolis Arts and Wine Festival, so check the Maryland Crabs Facebook page. Make sure you like it. And we're going to run some contests to give away some tickets to the Annapolis Arts and Wine Festival there.
Oh, yeah.
And
I might enter that contest.
And that will be up and coming there.
I have a feeling I'll win.
I don't think so. I've got the tickets.
No.
But up and coming, we've got a candidate for mayor, Nevin Young.
Yep, we interviewed him. And
he's our final candidate for mayor. We have talked to him, and we'll be talking to him in probably a couple weeks.
And the aldermanic elections are heating up, too. We just had a new entry yesterday, I think.
A couple days ago. David Frankel,
Republican in Ward 7. So that's Ian, and Ian hasn't filed yet.
Ian is not going to run again.
Oh, he's not?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's already said that he is not.
So that's Rob Savage, who's kind of annoyed with us right now, and Alexis Viegas. And so it's a 3-person race right now so far in Ward 7 alone.
And Ward 6 also looks, we think Kenny Kirby is going to be running again, but you've got Shanika Henson and Dewan Gay is running there. You've got Mark Rodriguez. I've heard there's another candidate named James Appel who's going to be running in Ward 5. Sheila Finlayson has a challenger.
Which is an oddity.
In Ward 4, a Democrat with Tony Strong Pratt. Kurt Riegel will be running against Fred Payon, who is
That's going to be one to watch, too.
Yep, he is not one. And my prediction here, and I'll say this right now, is that Kurt will defeat Fred. Mm-hmm. And I think the yet-to-be filed alderman for Ward 8, which would be Julie Mussog, as a Republican, will defeat Ross Arnett. I think the consistency of the council will stay the same. Those 2 seats will flip.
I think there's we were talking last night, I was talking with an insider, and we were talking about the races to watch, and I think almost all these wards are races to watch. This is the first time in a while it's been this kind of exciting.
Ward 8 just got even more interesting, too, because Bumper Moyer, which is Ellen and Pip Moyer's son, has just filed to run.
Yeah, I saw that.
For alderman in Ward 8. So that'll be interesting to see whether that could be something very positive, or it could be something negative to him.
I think Ward 7 could flip.
I don't know.
I think it could.
We'll see.
He's saying, I was looking at, I was looking at Dave Frankel's campaign, basically loose, his platform, and he's using all the right buzzwords, just saying that, Ward 7's not getting the financial...
I want to see how much money and everything else. I agree.
And he threw environment in there, too, which is a buzzword that you don't often hear on the Republic. So I think that's that could possibly flip. But that said...
we'll see. We want to talk to all the candidates. And also, but just real quickly, in Ward 1, you've got Larry Clausen, Ellie Tierney, and Joe Budge. You've got a 3-way race in Ward 1 at this point. And we are going to be getting with all of the aldermanic candidates just for short little crab cakes. And
we'd like to do full shows, but there's just so many of you guys that there's no way that we can possibly do full shows. So we're going to do like the 20-minute crab cakes with each one, to be fair. So if you want to do it, then contact us, so that we'll probably be reaching out to you. And if you don't want to do it, I wouldn't skip us, because we are delightful.
Right. And we have teased about possibly having a mayoral debate town hall.
John has been working very, very hard on that. He sends me a bunch of emails that I don't read about it.
It is all coming to fruition as long as we can get Gavin Buckley, John Astle, Nevin Young, and Mike Panelides to answer an email. We should have a date set up.
Well, if I don't look at your emails, they're not going to look at your emails. Let's be honest.
Well, it's going to be June 28th.
That's my dad's birthday.
So just put that on the calendar. This will be a fairly big thing. It'll be a live event, both online and in person.
Which means drinking.
Yep. There will be alcohol involved, but we're not paying for it.
Oh. Well, I'm not. I was hoping someone would cover me.
Yeah, no. Well, that's how that is.
Okay, so in the meantime, you can find us at themarylandcrabs.com. That is our website that I should really visit sometime to take a look at. And on Facebook, we have a page, we have a group. Just find us at the Maryland Crabs, or you can friend either one of us because we are friendly kind of guys. We both love Twitter. So John's at Annapolis, I'm at Tim Hamilton 47, and of course we're at MD Crabs Podcast on Twitter, and we do all the tweet things. And you can send us an email, info@marylandcrabs.com. And
let me interrupt you real quick on that email address.
Yeah.
Just send us any kind of an email, and if you've got a kid or a friend that has a kid, 5 to 15, you're in for the
football.
For the football.
Yeah.
Play like a Ravens clinic.
Do that. And then, of course, you want to subscribe to us. You want to leave a rating. You want to leave a comment. You can find us at Apple Podcasts. You can find us at Google Play. You can find us on Alexa. You can find us at a bunch of places. So this next week, we'll be talking to Nevin, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, folks. Have a great weekend.
This has been the Maryland Crabs Podcast with Tim Hamilton and John Fernay. Sure to follow them in all the regular places, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and online at themarylandcrabs.com. Take a moment to rate us on iTunes. Now, get the hell out of my kitchen. Seriously, go!
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.